Welcome to this edition of From the Vault, presented by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. I'm Todd Lewis. Today, we'll watch two classic CASCAR races from 1996. First up, the GM Goodwrench AC Delco 200 from Cayuga Speedway. This was my second season covering CASCAR as a pit reporter. Enjoy Canada's National Stock Car Series as it visits the legendary 5/8 mile outside of Hamilton, Ontario.
Speed, intensity, and bumper-to-bumper action. This is CASCAR late model stock car racing, where teamwork, especially in the pits, can mean the difference between winning and disappearing. From Cayuga Speedway, TSN presents the GM Goodwrench AC Delco 200. This is the CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup. Castrol, manufacturers of GTX. Brought to you in part by Mopar Performance Parts, your first choice, and Chrysler 5-star service. STP, get your car into STP shape. GM Goodwrench Service Plus and AC Delco.
Hello everybody and welcome to race number 8 of the CASCAR Eastern Super Series from Cayuga Speedway in Nels Corners, Ontario. I'm Pat Gonzalez, and today some 37 drivers will take the green flag in this 200-lap event. Now, a year ago, number 7, Sean Dupuis, was the dominant driver. He had the points lead coming in here to Cayuga. He went on to win the CASCAR Eastern and National Championships. Well, this year, another driver has been dominant. Number 3, Dan Shurtleff from Huntsville, Ontario, has been the driver to beat. He currently was able to add to his National and Eastern points lead with a great run in time trials. He was the fastest driver around the Cayuga Speedway Oval at 22.267 seconds. In fact, time trials was extremely competitive with just half a second separating the fastest 22 drivers. So our Mopar Fast 4 looks like this.
So Dan Shurtleff grabs that coveted front row inside starting spot with the fastest Mopar time, and beside him is Paul Mathers in the 10 car. And this guy seems to be always in the top 4 qualifiers. A new face up front is Pete Vanderweest in the Interstate Batteries entry, followed by Alex Nagy in the AC Delco Chevy.
While the Monte Carlo drivers were dominant in time trials, 3 of the 4 cars in the time trials were the Monte Carlos. There you saw Dan Shurtleff, Paul Mathers getting strapped up.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
And there's the call for the CASCAR drivers to fire the engines as we prepare for the start. Dan Shurtleff, the National and Eastern points leader, it's thumbs up to his crew chief Tim Ellis. And now the cars begin to roll here at Cayuga Speedway in preparation for this 200-lap run. As we look at the starting grid, Shurtleff and Mathers up front, Vanderweest, his best qualifying effort of the season. Duke Sawchuk, Dave Whitlock back in 4. And there's Earl Ross and Dan Delisle, who's taken over the 31 car for Kelly Williams here today. Brad Jakes, you saw. Brad back running the series in that Prestone Dodge Avenger. Some of the other drivers a little bit further back. Robin Buck, number 43. And back in that 15th row, Sean McGlynn in the 4. Jack Bateman, number 22. Mike Herniak, he was not pleased with that 32nd starting position. Bob Merrifield, I do not believe will run here today. They had problems with the car, so it'll be 36 cars on the starting grid.
Well, Marshall Momorlock making the trek from his home base in Alberta, and a good turnout for this 200-lapper despite cloudy conditions. And here's Todd Lewis with a last-minute update.
Dan Shurtleff is just going to try and get away a little bit quickly and make some laps and establish himself. Paul Mathers made a lot of changes to his car first thing this morning. He's very unsure about it. Pete Vanderweest, 3rd fastest qualifying, is just going to play follow the leader with Shurtleff. And guys, a guy we missed down here in the pits, Junior Regan. He and Team Mopar with Peter Shatanis have folded up for the moment and gone their separate ways.
Well, Todd, here they come off of turn 4, and they'll get the green flag into turn number 1. It is number 3, Dan Shurtleff on the bottom of the racetrack. Number 10, Paul Mathers up on the high side, and Shurtleff will lead him down the back straightaway for the first time. Mathers up on the high side, runs second. There is the 18 of Pete Vanderweest in 3rd. 93, Alex Nagy is 4th, but down at the bottom of the racetrack, Kerry Mix in that Ford Thunderbird has moved up into the 4th place position.
Well, number 18, Vanderweest, is doing a good job staying in line with Mathers and Shurtleff. He told me earlier that he was just going to try to hug the bottom groove and try to hold on to his 3rd starting spot, Pat.
And now we go on board, Craig, with Pete Vanderweest. You know, he's got a very dedicated crew, and they've stayed behind their driver despite a lot of tough luck so far this season, but they were tickled with that third qualifying position. And right now it is number 18, Pete van der Weest, in the Interstate Batteries Monte Carlo, running third. But here comes Mix down to the bottom of the racetrack, looking for that third place position. And Mix pulls right up alongside, coming off of turn number 4, and they'll go side by side. But van der Weest will manage to hold the position back into turn number 1. Mix taking another run here at van der Weest for third, and now he'll get the position as they work the back straightaway.
Well, this is the Kerry Mix we're used to seeing, Pat. He's really pressuring Mathers, and right now Kerry looks to be the fastest car on the racetrack.
Well, Mix moving up as we look at the rundown. Van der Weest being pushed to fourth. Nagy, Don Thompson Jr., Duke Sawchuk, Sean Dupuis, Ron Beauchamp Jr., and then Earl Ross rounding out the top 10. Kerry Mix continues to put the pressure on Paul Mathers. Takes a look on the inside. Nothing there. Van der Weest will go right along with Mix as they try to run down that number 10, the Ford Thunderbird of Paul Mathers. Meanwhile, Shirtliff opening up a few car lengths on this fierce battle going on for the second place position. And number 93, Alex Nagy, has also moved up there to join the group as we go on board with Pete van der Weest sitting in that fourth place position. They'll come up on a slower car. That's number 80, Maurizio Cocci, as they will put him a lap down. Number 3, Dan Shirtliff back to the stripe. Here's Mix taking a look on the inside of Mathers, and Mathers will pinch him off to hold on to the second place position. But here comes Mix right up alongside again, and as they run down the back straightaway, he'll grab that second place spot. So Kerry Mix continues to charge up to the front. He started 6th. He's now running in the second place position. And number 92 in a big crash here on the front straightaway. 86, Don Thompson Jr. involved, along with 28, Steve Romley. 55, Neil Fair also into it. And the number 16 car of Al Turner also involved.
Well, here's the view from Neil Fair's Midas car as Jesse Kennedy, obviously he can't stop. He spins Fair. Then I think it's Al Turner who gives Neil the second shot there.
Craig, number 7, Sean Dupuis, was also involved in that incident. They'll take off the hood and get him back out there on the lead lap.
Neil Fair also out of the pits, and we'll be back with more CASCAR action for the Castrol Cup after this.
From the Vault is brought to you by M-Zone, premium auto care proudly owned and made by Canadians. By Recap Recovery Drink. By WeatherTech. For the perfect fit and ultimate in-vehicle protection, nothing protects like WeatherTech. Order online at weathertech.ca. And by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. Visit our website for Hall merchandise.
And once again, they'll get the green flag from Matt Lake, side by side across the stripe into turn 1, as Duke Sawchuk, number 74, will grab the lead. And now Monahan 03 being shuffled back into that second place position. And here comes Johnny Gaunt, number 06, in the third place spot. It has not been a good 96 campaign for John Gaunt. He'll be looking for at least a top 10 finish here today at Cayuga. He currently runs in that third place position. Also moving up here, number 7, Sean Dupuis, around the outside of Ted McIntyre. Dupuis will take over the fourth place position. Remember, Dupuis has already made his mandatory pit stop to pull the hood off that car, and he's been able to work his way up into the fourth place spot. But it's number 74, Duke Sawchuk, who continues to lead. And now we go on board with Sean Dupuis in car number 7 inside of Johnny Gaunt. He'll take over third. McIntyre, number 82, also coming up the inside of John Gaunt. He will move to fourth. So they continue to shuffle the running order at the front. There's your new third place car, number 7, Sean Dupuis in that Monte Carlo. Fourth is number 82, Ted McIntyre. And then the 06 car of Johnny Gaunt getting shuffled back into the fifth place spot. Things starting to string out just a little bit here at the front. 97 there, you see the yellow car is Rob Neely. He runs 6th, and here's the battle for 7th. 16, Al Turner being pressured by 43. Robin Buchan down on the inside is number 55, Neil Fair. This is a superb three-way fight going on for that 7th place position as they work their way back to the stripe. And then it is Van Avery in car number 72. He runs in the 10th place spot, and Robin Buck got real loose coming off that turn, and he will lose a couple of positions. So number 16, Al Turner, in that 7th place position. As Buck now, number 43, is being pressured by Dan Shirtliff as he continues to work his way back to the front. Shurtleff just now getting inside the top 10. Robin Buck will try to keep it close, but that car appears to be very, very loose. The STP Pontiac comes battling back, trying to retake the position here from Dan Shurtleff as he continues to charge to the front, just in back of Buck, the second of the STP cars of Mike Herniak, but he's had his problems so far here today at Cayuga Speedway.
Well, all of these cars right down to Kerry Mix in 13th are still within striking distance of Sawchuk. And here's Todd Lewis.
With Duke Sawchuk, crew chief Gord Osborne. Gord, Duke won here last year on a flat tire. He's running out front now. What's he got to do to stay there?
A little bit of luck. We need a little bit of luck. There's a long race left. Hopefully we can have a clean pit stop. We haven't pitted yet, and we'll work our way back up there, but we're hanging in there.
There's your race leader, Duke Sawchuk, as he'll put 47. Sean Mangin yet another lap down. And now we look at the number 3 car of Dan Shurtleff as he goes around 06 John Gaunt. Shurtleff continues his charge to the front. He's up into the 5th place position.
And Mix is also on the charge. I talked to Kerry earlier about his new engine package.
And doing our own motors now, and hopefully that's going to work out. You know, like we're qualified 6th today, and the motor feels real strong. Everything looks good in the motor. All the gauges look good all day yesterday, and we're just hoping that that's going to help our program.
While Kerry Mix continues to have a strong run here, he's inside the top 10 as we look at the battle for 10th. Rob Neely in the number 97 Mac Tools Dodge Avenger, the yellow car there, running 10th, followed by John Gaunt, and there is number 55 Neil Fair as we go on board with the Midas Monte Carlo driver, looking back to Robin Buck in that number 43 Richard Petty 25th anniversary STP Pontiac. Buck appears to be having some handling problems, but he's hanging in there just outside of the top 10. And number 75 Mike Herniak's got a problem. Smoke coming from that car.
Well, he's dumping some oil all over the racetrack, and it's making it very difficult for the guys behind him right at the moment too, Pat.
Well, that's a mist of oil going down on the racetrack. You saw Vander Weest fighting the steering wheel on that car to keep it on the racetrack and off of the wall as he closes in on DJ Kennington just ahead of him. And there was number 35. Brad Jakes just about put the Prestone Dodge Avenger sideways. So there's definitely oil on the racetrack from the 75 Mike Herniak car as we look at the leader, 74 Duke Sawchuk, as he works his way around the racetrack. Duke Sawchuk, your race leader, getting around number 17, DJ Kennington, and DJ will go a lap down in that Castrol Dodge Avenger. So Duke Sawchuk continues to run up front. Remember, he is not pitted.
And another tough day of racing for the Herniak half of the STP team. Mike expected a new engine today, but the package never arrived.
Well, here's a Pontiac running out in front, number 74, Duke Sawchuk. And right in front of number 10, Paul Mathers, the 72 car spins, and into the wall goes number 60, Ron Beauchamp Jr. So those two drivers involved.
That'll bring out the caution flag. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this. We're back with the GM Goodwrench AC Delco 200 from Cayuga Speedway, and the cars are just getting restarted after another incident that brought out the red flag, stopping this CASCAR event.
And the reason for the red flag was a hard crash on the back straightaway by John Gaunt. Here's our Mopar replay. Gaunt's car into the barrier there. And then the medical personnel will right on the scene, putting on that protective collar brace just for precautionary reasons.
Well, John's helmet eventually absorbed a lot of the energy of that crash, but John appears to be okay. And here we are back to green.
And there's the green flag from Matt Lake, side by side into turn 1, and it's number 7, Sean Dupuis, who will grab the lead. Dan Shurtleff in car number 3 jumps up into the 2nd place position as we look at our STP update. Mix, Randy Slack, number 30, having a great drive. Jim Lapsovich up into 5th. And there's Duke Sawchuk as he finally has made his pit stop. He has dropped back into the 9th place position. Robin Buck back to 16th. Ron Van Avery, after that incident, running 17th, managed to stay on the lead lap. Jesse Kennedy running a lap down, as are several of the other drivers. Marshall Mormulak, one of the CASCAR Western drivers here at Cayuga Speedway, running a lap down as well. We look at some of the other close battles. Here is number 74, Duke Sawchuk, trying to climb back up through the field after making his pit stop. He's running with number 16, Al Turner, and the number 17 there of DJ Kennington. So there's some great racing all the way through through the field. There's Jack Monahan in the 0-3. He was one of our leaders here today at Cayuga Speedway. There's the Pete Vanderweest Interstate Batteries crew as they battle side by side. There's Sawchuk number 74 and the 16 car of Al Turner. They are having a war back there. Up front, number 7, Sean Dupuis, still your race leader. Dan Shurtleff, number 3, almost into the back of Dupuis, and then 0-2. Kerry Mix is also right there as the 3 drivers come back to the stripe. Here's Shurtleff taking a look down on the inside, and Dupuis really gets it loose, but will pinch off Shurtleff. Here comes Kerry Mix up on the high side, and it's almost 3 cars wide as they come off of that corner. Number 3, Dan Shurtleff, down at the bottom of the racetrack, will take the lead. Sean Dupuis in car number 7, battling back, and here comes Kerry Mix. This is some of the best racing we've seen here so far today. And it was number 7, Dupuis, into the back of Shurtleff, and he got him loose. So these drivers are just hammering on each other, Craig Hill.
Well, the Good Wrench team is sure enjoying the action right now, Pat. And you know, Cayuga is a place that always produces good, exciting racing like this.
This has been a superb battle for the lead, and now the 2 lead cars, crew chiefs Tim Ellis and Jim Rochello, discussing what's happening out there on the racetrack, as now we've got a yellow caution flag out here. And there's the reason for it. 25, Jim Lapsevich involved, along with Sean McGlynn, 08, and 43. Robin Buck is also into it. We saw just a little bit of a fire there, and this will bring out yet another caution here at Cayuga Speedway. There's 43, Robin Buck into the pits. Extensive damage to the front of that car.
And it looks like Dan Shurtleff has cut down a tire, probably from all the debris on the track. With that, we'll be back with more from Cayuga right after this. We're back with more CASCAR racing action for the Castrol Cup from Cayuga, and we're under yellow again because of an incident between Bill Daniels and Paul Mathers. But before we get to that, we want to show you the pass for the lead that happened during our commercial break.
Kerry Mix in the 0-2, battling side by side with number 7, Sean Dupuis. Mix would move around that Monte Carlo to grab the lead in his Ford. Now, here is the reason for our most recent caution period. Paul Mathers fighting the wheel on that Ford as he gets tapped by number 21, Bill Daniels.
Well, then Mathers wants to discuss it, but Daniels obviously would rather talk long distance and preferably by phone, Pat.
Well, green flag back out, but nice to see that cooler heads prevail in that incident between Mathers and number 21, Bill Daniels. Kerry Mix in the 0-2 Ford Thunderbird continues to run out in front. Sean Dupuis in car number 7 running second in 74. Duke Sawchuk is third. Right now it is pretty much a 3-car race. The 4th place driver 0-3. Jack Monahan about 10 or 12 car lengths further back. And Craig, I'm surprised that Dupuis has been able to run as strongly as he has without the help of the hood. That car's not as aerodynamic as the Ford of Mix and the Pontiac of Duke Sawchuk.
Well, you're absolutely right, Pat. You know, the car shouldn't be running as good as what it is. Obviously, he's got a very, very strong engine underneath what used to be the place where the hood was.
0-2, Kerry Mix, your race leader, number 7, Sean Dupuis, who won our national and Eastern CASCAR championships a year ago. As we look at some of the other great racing just in back of the front-running Ford, there you see 0-3, Speedy Jack Monahan in the Dodge Avenger. He runs fourth. Look at this battle for 5th between number 30, Randy Slack, and number 93, Alex Nagy. Nagy down on the inside looking for that 5th place position, and he will get it as Randy Slack in the Pontiac Grand Prix runs back in the 6th place position.
And there are the standings in quite a mix of cars up front, Pat, with the Ford leading, followed by Dupuis in a Chev, Sawchuk in a Pontiac, Monahan in a Dodge, and having a good race in 9th is Ted McIntyre. He's one of the drivers up for the Rookie of the Year, along with number 72, Ron Van Every.
0-2, Kerry Mix opening up some ground here on Sean Dupuis, who now comes under pressure from 74, Duke Sawchuk in that Power Max Pontiac, and also moving up here as well as 0-3, Jack Monahan in the Dodge Avenger. We look at another battle a little bit further back. Number 16, Al Turner all over Ted McIntyre, and Turner gets loose. DJ Kennington trying to squeeze through on the inside, but Turner was quick to pinch him off as they came off of the turn. Some great racing all the way through the top 10. Here is number 7, Sean Dupuis in that Monte Carlo as they come up on the number 3 car of Dan Shurtleff, about to put him another lap down. So it's been a bit of a tough ride here in the latter stages of this one for Dan Shurtleff.
Well, Dan is now just out there for points towards the Eastern and National Championship, where the 1997 V10 Dodge Ram Dually is part of the winner's package.
And a pretty good payout here today as well. The winner will walk away with the lion's share of a prize and contingency package totaling some $50,000. And of course, when you add up the Eastern, Western, and the National Championships, there's about $1 million in prize and contingency up for grabs. There's the white flag out for Kerry Mix in that 0-2 Ford. I don't think anybody's going to catch him here this afternoon. And boy, I tell you, they may be thinking that Kerry should have been building his engines right from the start of the season, because he has had a rocket ship here today at Cayuga. Here's Kerry Mix in that Ford Quality Care Commercial Lease Thunderbird off the final turn. The checkered flag at the stripe, and Kerry Mix will win it as his crew celebrates along pit road.
There are the results, with Kerry Mix picking up his first win of the year, Sean Dupuis getting to the podium, and for Duke Sawchuk, that's his second race in a row, finishing in third. Another good effort by Neil Fair in the Midas entry. He started this one in 26, and here's Pat.
Kerry Mix, tremendous drive. You guys have been working hard all season, and boy, it all seemed to come together for you here today at Cayuga.
Yeah, this Quality Care Commercial Lease car is something else today. You know, we've had a hard season, but it's come together.
Kerry, congratulations on a great drive and a big win.
Thank you very much.
Now, does this change your luck, hopefully, for the rest of the season? You're going to be able to get back to the top of the championship?
Well, we're sitting really close right now. Like, we're not going to give up and die, that's for sure. We've showed that in the past, and we're not going to stop. And I've got all the faith in my crew right now, and my family's behind me, and we're just going to keep plugging away, and hopefully we can come out on top.
And there are the updated Eastern standings, and Dan Shurtleff is ahead of Nagy by 25 points with 3 races left. Here's Todd with Duke Sawchuk.
Well, today we'll take a third place. We got tangled up a little bit early in the race, and that kind of hurt us just a little bit. But we'll take this third place and be happy with it. We had to really work coming up through the field and that, and you know, we had a strong car, but Kerry was real strong today, and we couldn't quite catch Sean. I think we might have had another 20 or 30 laps. Sean was really hanging on there for the end.
So a great drive for Kerry Mix. He becomes the 6th different winner in our 8 CASCAR Eastern Super Series events. Craig, that's competitive.
Well, it's a long road back from Kerry. He's had a hard season. And, of course, a good drive by Sean Dupuis, and good old Iron Duke in there for third, Pat. Great race all the way down the line.
Not a good day for Dan Shurtleff, as our points battle in both the Eastern and the National Championships will now tighten up as we head to our next event, coming to you from Peterborough Speedway. For Craig Hill and Todd Lewis and our entire crew, this is Pat Gonzalez saying so long from Cayuga Speedway.
The GM Goodwrench AC Delco 200 has been brought to you in part by Castrol, manufacturers of GTX. Mopar Performance Parts, your first choice in Chrysler 5-star service. STP, get your car into STP shape. GM Goodwrench Service Plus and AC Delco. This event is sanctioned by CASCAR, Canadian Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Clothing supplied by Chaco Motorsports Apparel. This has been a JRA production in association with TSN, the Sports Network.
Kerry Mix takes the big win. The Mount Albert, Ontario racer was the 1993 CASCAR champion and would have a 25-year career in the Touring Series. Lots of Hall of Famers in this race as well. Alex Nagy, DJ Kennington, Peter Gibbons, Dave Whitlock, Robin Buck, and Don Thompson Jr. Next up, we go to Edmonton, where CASCAR started to build an event that would eventually attract the IndyCar Series to the area.
This is CASCAR Super Series Racing from the Edmonton City Center Airport. And today, this 2.2-kilometer temporary road circuit will be the battleground for the crowning of the CASCAR Western Series champion. From Edmonton, Alberta, TSN presents the bumper-to-bumper Tommy Fox Classic 150. This is the CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup. Castrol, manufacturers of GTX. Brought to you in part by Mopar Performance Parts, your first choice, and Chrysler 5-star service. STP, get your car into STP shape. GM Goodwrench Service Plus and AC Delco.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a sunny but cool Edmonton, Alberta. Today's bumper-to-bumper 150 is a shootout between two drivers for the CASCAR Western Championship. Number 79, defending CASCAR West champion Wade Lee of Calgary, has made a late-season charge to close to within just 14 points of number 5, Steve Jefferson of Prince George, BC, in the GM Goodwrench Service Plus Monte Carlo. So our Mopar Fast Four for the qualifying heat races looked like this.
The only driver to break through the 1-minute barrier was the defending CASCAR West champion Wade Lee, but his rival for the Western Championship, Steve Jefferson, wasn't far back. And another longtime road racer and local favorite, Kevin Dollar, qualified at 1:01.661. And DJ Kennington was the fastest of the 4 Eastern CASCAR drivers to make their way west.
There's Ken Alexander in the Dodge Avenger. That car normally driven by Chris Orange, part of the great crowd here at Edmonton. And now we go on board with Marshall Mormaluk. He'll carry one of our many onboard cameras. There you see the field rolling behind the pace car on these very wide taxiways and runways that make up the majority of the 2.2-kilometer road course here at Edmonton, Alberta. There's another one of our onboard cameras looking back to driver Ron Beauchamp Jr. as we look at the full starting grid. They have inverted the top 12 qualifiers. Alexander and Mayer up front. Carl Haar and DJ Kennington back there in the 3rd row. There's Wade Lee's brother Daisy Lee starting 7th. And then Wade Lee and Robin Buck in the Pontiacs in row number 6. And Larry Caruso there in row 8 in the Dodge Avenger, normally driven by Jack Monahan. Larry Caruso with a great deal of road racing experience, a former campaigner in the Rothmans Porsche Turbo Cup Series. There you see Kim Richard in car number 20, starting 25th. They had all kinds of problems here yesterday in the practice sessions, have had to make lots of repairs to the car. Here is the pace car as it rolls through the final left-hander as they approach the start-finish line. The pace car now speeding up as they will get the green flag. We're racing at Edmonton. Number 11, Ken Alexander with the lead as they head for turn 2. And now we go on board with Ron Beauchamp Jr. runs right off the racetrack up over the curbing. And now aboard DJ Kennington. He is also off the racetrack and hits our tread cam that's right down at track level. So Beauchamp, number 60, as he gets it back onto the racetrack. Here's the battle for the lead. Alexander runs wide right on the other side of those pylons. And now Robin Buck, number 43, loops his car around on the back straightaway as well.
Well, 3 Eastern CASCAR drivers off on the first lap. We may be seeing some anxiousness on cold tires. And remember that these cars are going flat out at about 150 to 160 mile an hour on 2 of the straightaways. And for many of our oval track stars, Pat, that's got to be a new experience.
Well, here's one of those oval track stars with limited road course experience, Steve Jefferson, as he runs right behind Wade Lee. Steve's done a great job here so far this weekend. He was 3rd last weekend in the 2nd to last Western event as he finished 3rd on the road course at Race City Speedway. There's your new leader, Rick Peterson, number 3, followed by the 2 car of Carl Haar. Here's the battle for 3rd, and number 79, Wade Lee, will go inside of Dallas Mayer to take over the 3rd place position. Again, you ride on board with Steve Jefferson. He is currently 5th and closing on Dallas Mayer at number 43.
And right there you saw Jefferson jam it into gear, and I think he's one of the only drivers using 3 gears today. The rest are only using 2nd and 3rd, I understand, Pat.
Craig, and I think many of the drivers are shifting up and down through the gearbox without using the clutch as we look at this lead battle, hard braking going in. Wade Lee up on the outside of Ron Beauchamp Jr. He is running a lap down. Carl Haar taking the lead, and Rick Peterson, who had been the leader in car number 3, got shuffled back there, and I believe about the 3rd place position. In fact, there's Jefferson, number 5. He has now moved up to 3rd. Peterson has faded all the way to 4th.
Well, the 2 guys that have made their way to the front there, Pat, they're both ex-road racers, and they know how to use the clutch and the gearbox. They're doing a fine job out front right now.
Going through turn number 5, here's Wade Lee. He'll try that outside line on Carl Haar. won't work as they move out of turn number 6 and head onto this very wide section of the racetrack. Wade Lee tucks it on the inside. They're coming up to this very fast right-hander at the end of the straightaway, and Wade Lee will go into the lead. Haar tucks right in behind. He tries to run it out wide on one of the main runways here at Edmonton, but it is Wade Lee, number 79, in that Goodrich Pontiac Grand Prix, your new leader. And remember, he's come all the way off row number 6. Carl Haar, number 2, running in second. Jefferson is third. Number 3, running in the 4th place position is Peterson, and there's Richie Larson. It looks like he has now moved up into the 5th place position. Richie Larson, number 22, with a great deal of sprint car racing experience, is putting a charge on as well.
And here's a Mopar replay of DJ Kennington as he tries to make up for his early spin. He just pours the power on and misses his corner apex completely.
Craig, DJ was lucky to keep that car off the concrete barriers earlier in the weekend. Dan Shirley hit one of those barriers, and the crew spent hours getting the car back together. Here's the battle going on for that 5th place position. Richie Larson, as Dallas Mayer just lights up the tires under heavy braking. They're fighting it out for 5th.
And there are the standings, with Lee, the fastest racer right now, well ahead of Haar, Jefferson, and Peterson. And Robin Buck and Al Turner in 9th and 10th. Al's another guy that had problems in practice. He put his ice brake Chevy off in corner 2, rearranging the front end.
Well, Craig, they've shuffled that top 10 again as number 43. Robin Buck has moved around 35. Kevin Dowler to move up into the 8th place position in that STP Pontiac. The veteran road racer Buck is all over Harold Brown in that yellow Pennzoil car for the 7th place position. Here's Buck taking a look down the inside as they go into turn number 2. And Harold Brown just shuts the door, and Robin Buck has looped the car around, spinning as he came off of turn number 2. He may have got in there just a little bit too hard on the brakes as Brown shut the door. And now we look at this battle for second. Steve Jefferson, number 5, has gone inside and taken over that 2nd place spot from Carl Haar. A nice pass there going through turn number 8. That is one of the long braking zones. And Steve Jefferson, 52, Marshall Mormoluk's off the track.
And with that spin, we'll take a break. You're watching CASCAR Late Model Stock Car Racing from Edmonton, Alberta.
Wade Lee, one of the most experienced drivers here in terms of running on a road course, continues to pour it on up front and stretches that lead out. Robin Buck getting a little aggressive through that right-hander as he lights up the tires again as we ride along with 2nd place driver Steve Jefferson in the Monte Carlo. Jefferson trying to close the gap on Wade Lee. And he's got a problem here, fighting the steering wheel as he loops the car around. Going on to one of the long straightaways here, Jefferson looping that car around a couple of times. Now he'll get it back in gear, and he'll be on his way, but he's going to lose valuable time here on the racetrack. Remember, 14 points separated Steve Jefferson and Wade Lee going into today's Tommy Fox Classic. And right now, Jefferson's got a lot of catching up to do. Wade Lee has already picked up 4 points for leading a lap here today, and he continues to sail out in front. Here's Carl Haar looking on the inside, looking to go back up in a second, but Jefferson, despite the spin, manages to hold on to the number 2 spot, but he's got a problem. Carl Haar will go through, as will number 22, Richie Larson. And Carl Haar has taken over second. Jefferson is waving the other drivers by. Craig Hill, it looks like he's headed for the pits.
Well, he's looking for a gear, but it won't go in. Obviously, he's lost something in his driveline. It could be a clutch or something, Pat. He's not going to get that cured in this pit stop.
Big disappointment here for Steve Jefferson, who had such a lead with just a couple of races to go. There you can see the frustration and the dejection by Jefferson, who ran very well here through the practice sessions and the time trials and the qualifying heats. But it is disappointment in a big way for Steve Jefferson, and what a way to lose this championship. As Wade Lee, number 79, continues to sail out in front, we look at this battle for second, and Richie Larson, number 22, has moved around Carl Haar just about right off the racetrack as these drivers use every bit of the pavement to get around this 2.2 kilometer road course. And Richie Larson fighting it out here with Carl Haar. Remember, Larson, one of the
leading drivers for the CASCAR Western Rookie of the Year. There's part of the crowd enjoying some great racing action so far. The number 12 car, the Lumina of Ron Larson, started 21st. He's come all the way up into the 6th place position. And now we look back at Larry Caruso, 03, in that gold key lease Dodge Avenger. He is running in the 9th place position at the moment, and all over him is 43 Dallas Mayert. Meanwhile, Caruso is trying to close it up on 95. Daisy Lee in the STP Pontiac as they come off of this corner and now head on to one of the long straightaways here at Edmonton.
Well, this gives us a chance to look at the grunt that those Dodges have got out of the corner, Pat, and he just blows by Daisy Lee.
Larry Caruso up into that 8th place position, and now we look at the battle for 4th. Harold Brown in the Pontiac Grand Prix is all over Rick Peterson side by side into turn 11, and oh, Brown just couldn't squeeze by on the inside. Peterson runs 4th, Brown is 5th.
And there's the STP update with Lee ahead of Richie Larson, Haar and Peterson, and number 16, Al Turner. He's making his way up the ladder in 7th, and it looks like Robin Buck has retired the Pontiac, along, of course, with Steve Jefferson. Here's Joel Robinson with the disappointed Jefferson.
Steve, you're out of the race early. What happened?
We lost the clutch and possibly some transmission damage. It's car's done for the day, and unfortunately, so is our championship. It's too bad we led the thing a whole year and come right down to the last race, and mechanical Gremlin got us. So try again next year.
Hard luck, Steve.
That's racing, eh?
Tough break for Steve Jefferson. He led the Western Points Championship throughout much of 1996, and a tough way to lose that title here today. There you saw Daisy Lee, 95, the STP Pontiac, in under a green flag situation. That's going to cost them an awful lot of laps in time. Larry Caruso in the 03 Dodge Avenger, as he is now being challenged by number 43 Dallas Mayert. The two drivers side by side on the straightaway. Mayert looking for the pass, and he will get it to take over that 8th place position. So last year's CASCAR Western Rookie of the Year, Dallas Mayert, has moved up into that 8th place position. Larry Caruso in the 03 car, making his first CASCAR Super Series start this year, battling back, pulls up alongside of Dallas Mayert as they roll out at turn number 9, and they'll go side by side here into turn 10, and it is 43 Mayert who will hold on to the position. Caruso in the 03 car, still running back in the 9th place spot as they've swapped that position around. You look at the battle here now for 2nd and 3rd. 22 Richie Larson holding on to that number 2 spot. It is Carl Haar in the 3rd place position, just about 6 or 7 car lengths separating these two drivers. Meanwhile, Wade Lee continues to run well up front in the GM Goodwrench Pontiac. Larson, number 22, smokes the tires and he loops the car around.
Well, he just gets on the outside there, Pat. Probably got into a little bit of loose stuff, put on the power just a shade too soon, and it just spun him right around.
Well, it's number 79, Wade Lee leading. Carl Haar, your new 2nd place driver, 22. Richie Larson manages to hang on to that 3rd place position despite the spin, and he now has lapped the number 95 car there of Daisy Lee, who pitted and is now back out onto the racetrack. That is your new 2nd place driver, Carl Haar, in the Goodwrench Monte Carlo. And now we are showing a full course yellow here at Edmonton. The caution flag's out right around the road course. And I believe the problem is on the back straightaway. That is one of the runways where they cannot allow a car to be disabled, and it is the 46 car of Dan Shirley being towed as we have some activity on pit road. You saw Marshall Mormilek, number 52, roll in, and here's the number 2 car of Carl Haar. He had been running in the 2nd place position. As he pulls to a stop, they'll go to work on that car.
And look here, Pat, Robin Buck is replacing Mormilek in the 52 car. I asked Robin earlier if it felt good to be back on a road course.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that was one of the reasons we came out here, is that I wanted to do a road race. The guys in the East have been really good to me with the ovals and helping me get the car set up, but you know, road racing's in my blood, so we decided we had to come out here and do at least one this season.
And look at this, Wade Lee has cut down a right rear tire. We'll be back with more CASCAR action for the Castrol Cup after this. Welcome back to the Edmonton City Center Airport and CASCAR West Racing. I'm Craig Hill, along with Pat Gonzalez, and that's the new leader, number 22, Richie Larson.
Well, Larson did not pit during that full course yellow. There was the former leader, Wade Lee, back in the 4th place position as you ride on board with the driver who, if he can keep it going here, looks like he'll have a lock on the CASCAR Western Championship. There you saw Richie Larson and Al Turner go through. That is the battle for the lead. Now we look at another great 2-car fight. This will be for the 3rd place position. Carl Haar running a little bit wide. Here comes Wade Lee looking up the inside, but he will have to tuck in on the Monte Carlo driver, Carl Haar, who holds that 3rd place position. Wade Lee, after pitting to change a tire that was going down, got shuffled back into 4th, but here comes Lee. He took a look up the inside. No opportunity to pass there. 22, Richie Larson runs wide here in turn number 9. There's Al Turner, number 16. He will take the lead in that extender eyes brakes Monte Carlo. Al Turner, your new leader. As they roll by turn number 1 here, it is Turner, 16, your leader. 22, Richie Larson running in the 2nd place spot. Back to that battle for 3rd place. Carl Haar, car number 2, still holding 3rd. 79, Wade Lee is in 4th. And now here comes Larson up the inside as 16, Al Turner, got hung up behind the 31 car of Al Gandy. And Richie Larson will take over the lead one more time. Wade Lee on the inside of Carl Haar. He'll take over that 3rd place position.
Well, that's the kind of racing that these wide runways promote, Pat. You can get lots of passing action because one guy gets a little wide, the other guy takes advantage and gets up on the inside.
Wade Lee a little wide. Carl Haar was there but couldn't make the pass, but Al Turner, number 16, has made the pass back into the lead, getting around number 22, Richie Larson, in that M&T Wood Products Monte Carlo. This is a great battle for the lead involving these 2 drivers as they work their way back to the start-finish line. Well, here's a driver with the car, but no motor as he's blown it up. Number 11, Ken Alexander, who started on the pole position. Looks like he's dropped the motor in that Dodge Avenger. And we've got a 3-way battle going on for the lead. 16, Al Turner, your race leader. 22, Richie Larson in 2nd. But here comes Wade Lee, number 79, running in the 3rd place spot. But he is really closed up on Turner and Larson in a big hurry as they battle onto the straightaway. It is still Turner, your leader, followed by Larson.
And Wade Lee goes by Larson, and there are the standings. And you know, Pat, that pass by Wade has moved him back into contention for the lead. But you know, I don't think Al Turner came all the way from Barrie to give it up that easy.
Well, his extender eyes brakes crew spent lots of time putting that car together after Al crashed it yesterday, and he has just turned in a superb drive here this afternoon. There's 79, Wade Lee in 2nd.
So it's road racer versus oval racer, and we'll be back with more CASCAR action for the Castrol Cup after this. Welcome back to the final CASCAR Western Series race of the year, and it's a real shootout between number 16 Al Turner and 79 Wade Lee for the win.
Greg, the last lap board is out. We've got less than a lap to go in the CASCAR Western season. And there's Wade Lee, number 79. He knows he's got the championship wrapped up with Steve Jefferson at the sidelines. But knowing Wade Lee as I do, he is not going to settle for 2nd. He knows he's got the championship, but he wants the win here in Edmonton as he goes right after Al Turner in car number 16. And what a drive Turner has turned in, to the delight of Mark Jones and all the crew from Eyes Brakes, as Turner leads him through that fast right-hander. Now the final run down this straightaway to turn number 8. Here is number 79, Wade Lee, going in on the outside. That won't work. Turner pulls ahead by about 6 or 7 car lengths. Just a couple of corners to go. Wade Lee gets real loose off of turn 9. Al Turner trying to hold on here. The checkered flag is out. Here comes Al Turner to the line, and he will win it. Wade Lee will finish in 2nd. And what a job by Al Turner in that extender Eyes Brakes Monte Carlo as he takes a big win here on the road course at Edmonton.
And there are the final standings, with Al Turner winning his 2nd race of the year, followed by Wade Lee, who retains his Western CASCAR Series crown. Then it's the new Rookie of the Year, Richie Larson. And look at that, the Mormalock Chevy is brought home in 15th by relief driver Robin Buck. And here's Pat.
Good job, buddy. Good job. Al Turner, a tremendous drive out there. Wade gave you everything he could throw at you on the last few laps, and you hung on there for the win. The car looked real strong at the end.
Yeah, it did. My hat goes off to my guys, because again, I'll tell you, we had a little trouble yesterday, but the guys come through and they worked really hard, and they prepared one heck of a car for me. And my sponsor, Eyes Brakes, Morris's Welding, everybody that's been behind me, this is a great win for our sponsor. They brought us all the way out here from Ontario, and I'll tell you, it's really nice. We were definitely an underdog, but I knew we could run pretty good if we got the brakes, and we did. I don't know what happened to Wade, but my hat's off to the other competitors too, because they ran a hell of a clean race.
Wade Lee, the new champion out west again. How do you feel about that? You did everything you could to catch up to him.
Oh man, I tell you, what do I say? I mean, the car was great at the beginning, and then we lost the cylinder, and I knew Steve was running in second, and George said, well, he's not gaining on you, just take her easy, and that's what we did. And then a couple laps later, I heard that Steve run into some bad luck. I don't know what happened there, but oh, bless God for that. I mean, geez, what can you say? I mean, I never counted on Steve going down, and then we had the flatten to come back from the back to finish second. What a job by the crew and everybody involved in the team. It's just great for General Motors and Snap-on Tools and Lee Barron and PVG. It's just fabulous.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Woo! Richie Larson, you had a strong car all day. Now you have the CASCAR Western Rookie of the Year wrapped up. How does it feel to come in third?
It feels excellent. This is our best run to date. Too bad we had some mechanical problems. We lost a diff, and it was really giving me havoc. Almost spun twice. I've spun once for sure. And it kind of got me in a little tither.
And there's the way the CASCAR Western Championship points ended up, with Calgary's Wade Lee edging out Prince George racer Steve Jefferson by just 44 points.
So Al Turner wins the inaugural CASCAR Super Series event here on this tremendous road course, Craig Hill. But Wade Lee is right there. A great drive for second in the championship.
Oh, a great race right to the end. And Al Turner proving you don't got to be just a road racer, just a racer. He did a great job out there today.
And of course, Richie Larson with a splendid drive to finish third. So the CASCAR Western Championship is decided. Our next event comes to you from Mosport International Speedway. That'll decide the CASCAR Eastern Championship. For Craig Hill, I'm Pat Gonzalez saying so long from Edmonton, Alberta.
This event has been brought to you in part by Castrol, manufacturers of GTX. Mopar Performance Parts, your first choice in Chrysler 5-star service. STP, get your car into STP shape. GM Goodwrench Service Plus and AC Delco. This event is sanctioned by CASCAR, Canadian Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Clothing supplied by Choco Motorsports Apparel. This has been a JRA production in association with TSN, the Sports Network.
Al Turner, the firefighter from near Barrie, Ontario, with his first road course win. Good to see Hall of Famers Larry Caruso, Kevin Dowler, and Carl Haar in that race. That track would go through some changes, but eventually IndyCar raced there very successfully. Thanks for watching From the Vault. I'm Todd Lewis.
From the Vault is brought to you by M-Zone, premium auto care proudly owned and made by Canadians. By Recap Recovery Drink. By WeatherTech. For the perfect fit and ultimate in-vehicle protection, nothing protects like WeatherTech. Order online at weathertech.ca. And by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. Visit our website for Hall merchandise.